Hey everyone, welcome back to the Petty Details, our podcast about all things auto claims, property damage, all the things. Here today, we've got Justin Petty. I'm Jen Petty. Justin is my husband. We run our company together called Petty Details. We started our company back in '09. We're like ripping and roaring right now with our business, helping a ton of people. And I wanted to talk today about a question that we get so much, and that is about salvage retention. So, will you tell us all the pros and cons of salvage retention so people will understand?
Yeah, sure. I mean, salvage retention, when your car is a total, when the insurance company says, oh, it's totaled,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
you say, well, I think I can get it fixed. I'd like to keep my car, you know.
Like hail damage or something.
For example, hail damage is a good example, or vandalism or something like that, where it didn't get into the mechanics or the structure of the vehicle, and it's still a mechanically sound vehicle, but the cosmetic side of it is, gone pretty much.
Yeah.
Some people will opt to deal with the cosmetic issue and just keep the vehicle as a form of transportation, and so they want to retain the totaled car, the salvage of that, and so salvage is what the car is worth in its damaged condition. That's the salvage value. So the repair cost, of course, if it exceeds the value of the vehicle and the salvage value after adjusting for that, then the insurance company will deem it a total. We can get into the details of that. There's some tricky stuff there,
Because
but
yeah,
yeah.
because they some of them do it different, and some states have different things. And
Each state has a different threshold that they use for it, and each insurance company. There's no hard and fast rule for whether a car is totaled or not. It just depends on which state you're in and what the regulations are. And the same thing with salvage, but salvage and total aren't the same thing. And so, all that being said, whether you're going to retain the salvage of your vehicle, I think one of the big things would be, are you going to have a salvage title if you retain it? If you do, then maybe you should think twice about that. That car is going to lose its value. It's hard to get insured. Nobody could get a loan on it if you wanted to sell it,
if it gets
because
totaled again, you get pennies on the dollar because nobody can help you fight good about what the value of that vehicle is after it's been totaled, like
got a
and
salvage
repaired, and
title.
you know.
Yeah, if you're going to have a salvage title, then you better expect to just drive that vehicle into the ground, use it as a ranch truck, or
Yeah.
a ranch vehicle. I mean, it's really you're not going to make out if you're going to retain a vehicle that's got a salvage title. It just needs to go and be dismantled, sold
Well,
for
and
parts.
sometimes it's worth the risk. Some people are risky, and it's worth the risk for them. It's like it's
Well,
hail damage, and
hell,
I'm driving
hail
this thing
damage.
until it dies. You know.
Hail
Hey,
damage is the best example of that. That hail damage. If it's
yeah,
purely
and we get a lot of
cosmetic.
that. We're in
Yeah.
Texas, so
Well, and it's the same thing with an old truck. Sometimes you got an old beater truck that's only worth 3 or 4 thousand, and knocking the tailgate off of it totals it. And they're
yeah,
like, I don't care about that. Just give me I'll get one of those chains to put up around. It
yeah.
just depends. But if you're going to retain the salvage, be aware of, is it worth it or not. I say it's not worth it in most cases unless it's a hail claim and you got a pretty decent car that is going to last you another 5 or 6 years, even with the hail damage on it. Okay,
Hey,
I
remember
get
that
that.
one?
Yeah.
Remember that Ford Bronco in Colorado? They wouldn't let them keep it because it had been totaled by some junkies that were doing drugs in his all of his classic Ford Bronco that was so beautiful. They wouldn't even let him keep the salvage. It was like a, what do they call it? A,
Bonded title.
oh no,
I don't know
wait, what
which
would
one
you
you're
say?
talking about.
Um, I'll remember his name here in just a minute. He made us something that's right in there on my bookshelf right now. So
Oh, Gary. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, Gary. He was in Washington, wasn't he?
No, I feel like he was in Colorado. We'll have to look. We'll have to look that case up.
Yeah,
That was an
yeah,
interesting one
no,
because it
yeah,
got
yeah.
stolen by some druggies and they went and
Uh,
shot up in it and stuff, and then
yeah, they
they
held
wouldn't
it
let him
and
buy
wouldn't
it
let him
back.
get it. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
they wouldn't let him retain it.
It was
And
like
that's interesting. To Go ahead, Jenny.
I was just saying, it was just like they were saying it was because of the materials that were in it, like the drugs and stuff that were in it. They wouldn't let them keep it.
Yeah, and that's something that is important to know, that the insurance company can let you. They can let you keep it if it's your insurance company. If it's not your insurance company, you can always keep it. It's your car. But if it's your insurance company and you're filing a claim, the contract says they can keep it if they want to, or they can let you have it. So if it's your own insurance company, they may not even let you retain the salvage because of something like that. Maybe there's a liability issue with them letting you keep it because it might have had meth in it, or it may have had some kind of, drug in it. And that was what the issue was with Gary's case. And so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
He was
yeah,
heartbroken. It was his wife's vehicle. Oh, he's
yeah.
heartbroken.
That
Well, I
one ended
mean,
up well though. Yeah.
yeah, that one did end up well. Well, do you have any other tips or any type of,
No, on the
information?
salvage retention, the only other thing about salvage retention is that it's a whole nother video, is when you invoke appraisal clause and you're retaining the salvage, it creates some problems because the insurance company likes to act like the amount they take out for salvage value is not part of appraisal. That's just not true. But that's a hurdle that you have to get over. We'll talk about that in another video because
Yeah.
you have to know how to address that. That's insurance companies do that. They're like, oh, all right, it's total and you're retaining it and you're disputing that we think you. So the example is they offer 8,000. We know it's worth 11. We go through appraisal. They say, okay, we'll give it to you for 8,000. We'll pay you for the car for 8,000. But if you keep the car, we're taking 2,000 out, and you're only getting 6,000 because we think the car in its wreck condition is worth 2,000. So 8,000 value, 2,000 salvage value. Here's your $6,000. You say no. I agree it's worth 2,000 wrecked, but I think it's worth more than right before. And they say, okay, we'll invoke appraisal, or they don't tell you that, but you figure out that that's what you got to
Yeah.
do. You invoke appraisal, then it goes to appraisal, and we confirm, it's worth 11,000, not 8. And then they say, okay, well, yeah, but now the salvage is worth 4,500 instead of
Seen it
2.
happen. Seen it
So
happen a couple of times, several times.
you have to know how to thwart that early on in the negotiation at the time of invoking your appraisal. Watch our other video on that. We're going to do a video
Yeah,
about
we're
that.
gonna
Yeah,
we're gonna do a video all about appraisal clause, so we'll definitely talk about that part of it.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Salvage
thank you everyone
retention.
for joining
That's it.
us. A salvage retention. Hopefully you got a question answered that you've been Googling about that you cannot find. But if you have any other questions that you can't figure out what the answers are to, that's what we do all day, every day for auto accident victims, attorneys, body shops, anyone with a property damage issue on auto. We help with that. So reach out to us. Our website will be in probably the description. We're brand new at this, so we'll figure out all the link stuff, and then you can get to us by basically email, website is the best way, or call. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back with our next video.